everyone and welcome. I'm Vincent and I'm happy to have you here. Today we are reacting to the new Assassin's Creed video game trailer that is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And today joining me as my guest is none other than Aaron Newton, my expert Viking friend. I am super happy to have Aaron here because as soon as I saw this video I was like, hold up, I'm not going to watch any of this until I can get Aaron on the line and we can have him because he is the most Viking guy I know.
Yeah, hey man, I appreciate you having me on for it. Glad you picked me of all people, and
no one else.
Gotta say that I made, gotta say that I made absolute certain to get the braids going for this one. As you know, I'm definitely everything, at least amongst our friends. So definitely excited for this. As soon as you told me about it, I was like, oh. They're making a new one. It's Vikings. You don't say. So I'm definitely excited.
I mean, you
haven't actually played any good games like that in a while.
Yeah, I mean, don't count yourself short though, because to me, you live and breathe the culture and the lifestyle of a Viking. At least, I mean, in a modern day society, you know. Of course, you don't go around raiding and pillaging people. Yeah, you don't like blood eagle people or anything.
I mean, that we can admit to.
Yeah, and not counting anything in other worlds or anything like that, you know.
Doesn't count at all.
But yeah, I mean, I've met tons of people in my life, but you definitely are the most. You are the most Viking of them all, and I mean that in the best ways.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I mean, so with that being said, Aaron,
I pride myself on that.
Yeah. So with that being said, Aaron, what is your history with Assassin's Creed?
So originally with Assassin's Creed, I did play the first and second ones. Didn't really get into them at first. The first one was kind of clunky for me, and at the time I wasn't as big into games like that.
Mm-hmm.
There also weren't a ton of games, so it was weird. And then eventually I started getting more into them. Definitely liked Black Flag. That was a lot of fun. I don't have near as much experience with them as I probably should.
I'm at you, Aaron, because I played the first two. I played a little bit of the third one. I never got to play Black Flag, even though it's a lot of people's favorite. The first one, like I like the idea initially because, as you know, Aaron, I actually really like rogues and assassins. Now, with you, I'm interested because assassins is not your thing. Like, you don't go into a game and you're
not at all.
Exactly. Now, so how do you feel about them taking the word assassin and pairing that up with Viking?
So Viking is actually a really broad term. It's basically just the Vikings in general would have been like all these dudes from Sweden, Norway, Scandinavia in general, and Vikings were just raiders. So basically, it could have been any of these dudes just going and raiding. They were everything from merchants to farmers. You know, everybody's ready to fight for their lord and so on, blah blah blah. Mix in assassin with big burly men of doom that are merchants, that are farmers, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's a big hulking man with an axe, and he's an assassin? I don't know. I could see it, but because, you know, obviously there are assassins in every culture, but still, like, it's a bit iffy.
Yeah, and I mean, a part of me is thinking that maybe what they're doing is that's the title that will sell the game. You know, if it says Assassin's Creed, they're going to sell a certain amount of copies of the game, as opposed to if they called it Viking Wars or something. Like, it would, you know, I feel like just having the name Assassin's Creed will net them more money.
Definitely.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm sure it still ties into the story. It still probably ties into the Brotherhood of Assassins and all that stuff. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this trailer set up, and then I'll do a countdown for us, and then we'll start it, okay? All right, so you ready, Aaron? I'll do a countdown.
Hey, you've had me chomping at the bits.
Okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, go, and then we hit play, okay?
Alright.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
They are heartless.
Loving the graphic animation so far.
Oh, it looks great.
Barbarians.
Definitely looks like a character that you'd play.
Absolutely.
They murder and kill blindly. Scour the lands of England. Lands they will never defend. Never love.
Yeah, dude, the graphics of this does look, I mean, it looks amazing.
To them,
Yeah.
The scenery and everything.
they will understand.
Really good. A second behind.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, that's pretty brutal.
It's a very brutal path.
Oh yeah. Okay, it's getting even more brutal.
Little did you know, I actually did all this myself.
Okay, well that's exactly why you're here, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a ton of people are reacting to this, but not enough Vikings are.
No, not even close.
So do you think the main character of this trailer is meant to be someone that we know, like from history? Like, is that meant to be Ragnar, or is that meant to be someone else, you think?
So,
Or do you think it's like a made-up guy?
it could really be any Viking period from history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could.
Do you think that's going to be the character that the players play as?
I would be surprised if it's not. At least at the moment.
And he's fighting that giant knight guy. I guess it is the main Viking enemy is like the European knights. Is that true?
So, depends at what point during the Viking Age it was. But it would largely, you're looking at the invasion of Britain.
Okay, so that would be the like.
At least from what I'm getting here, this is Britain.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Okay, so what did you think about his little hidden blade there? That was kind of the that was like the one assassin-isk thing. Like basically everything about the trailer, from what I could tell, was like 100% Viking, and up until the end, that like little hidden blade where he just got him in between the eyes as his victory, you know.
No such thing as a fair fight.
Oh yeah.
Not at all. Yeah. I definitely say that looks pretty sweet.
It looks cool. Yeah, I mean, even for me, who like I'm not living a Viking lifestyle. I'm not the embodiment of a Viking. That game looks like it would be worth playing just to look at everything. Like not even considering the fights or the mechanics or the story, just to see like the ocean and the castles, the My favorite shot of it personally was actually the green.
Oh yeah, it looked beautiful. That I was kind of getting from the video is the aesthetic of the Vikings. It seems like they really drew a lot from that History Channel show Vikings.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. That they drew a lot of inspiration from that. That's good.
To me, it reminded me of that show as well.
It's a great show. Definitely recommend it. Definitely say that they most certainly drew some inspiration from that. It seemed like the main character that you see in this video, especially in the final little battle scene there, it seems like they may have kind of tried to model him slightly after Ragnar Lothbrok and from the show.
Yeah.
To say the least. They really just don't give enough in the video, I think. Enough to...
Yeah.
But they don't give you enough to really, other than the obvious Viking stuff. They don't give you enough in-depth yet to...
Yeah, like we don't really know... Yeah, we don't know, like, the mechanics. Like, we don't know if you actually have to assassinate people.
How it's gonna be... Yeah.
Yeah, is there going to be stealth,
Like, it's tough to say, because Vikings generally didn't go for huge, large-scale battles if they could avoid it.
Yeah.
More or less, they wanted to kind of hit and run, slide in, shock and awe, kill, pillage, take your junk, hop back on the boat, sail back home. Like, that was their whole spiel. They were supposed to be lightning raiders. And then eventually, they started kind of making some settlements. And like, hey, this is pretty fertile land. We're going to take it. This is ours now. So I'm thinking this is going to aim more towards those lightning raids, at least to some degree. But from what it was looking like in part of the video where you get the nice green landscape and so on, that may be leaning towards parts of the game where you're settling in England, stuff like that. So that'll be interesting. Still not quite sure how they're going to work the whole assassin bit into it.
Yeah.
Tough to say on that one. Other than that, it looks like just a straight Viking game.
Yeah. I think the Assassin's Creed games have some sort of like brotherhood where they have, and forgive me if you're watching this and you're like, these guys don't know anything about Assassin's Creed, how could they, we focused more in this video on the Viking aspect more so than the Assassin's Creed aspect.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think they have some sort of like culture, and so maybe instead of it being more about being an assassin, it's kind of more about a creed that they have. Maybe it has something to do with, like, there's a particular Viking that has a creed that's shared by these assassins, and they sort of all work together in tandem from different parts of the world to do certain things, have certain goals that they have to accomplish. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing. Is there anything that you feel like is there anything that you feel like they definitely have to have in this game, or something that you really, really want them to have?
I will be extremely disappointed not Blood Eagle someone.
If you can't Blood Eagle someone?
At least, yeah. Or there are no cutscenes where someone gets Blood Eagle.
Got you. So as long as there's one of those two things.
Basically, and then I'll be happy. For anybody who does not know what that is, and it hasn't exactly been 100% proven that it was a thing that Vikings did, but it's talked about that they did do. Extremely horrible, painful way to die. They splay open the back of your ribs, hang your lungs over your chest. Your arms are spread out, and it looks like a bloody eagle. So that's the tone down.
Appreciate that, because
I'm hoping that's there.
Now, do you think that if that was put into a video game that would, I assume that would be still allowed for mature. I'm just not sure if I've seen something that bloody in a video game before. I've seen some pretty bloody things though. I
don't know. I have not played an Assassin's Creed game in a while.
Yeah.
Last one I had played was Black Flag. I didn't see anything quite that gory. So this is actually pretty neat. I scrolled just a bit further on the video just to see if it had any other rating on it. And with the pre-order, you get the Way of the Berserker.
Oh.
I don't see how in the hell you could actually be a Berserker and an assassin at the same time. No stealth.
Does it say what the Way of the Berserker is? Is that a weapon?
So, more than likely, because Berserkers were kind of like an elite, terrifying few, so to speak. They were also a force multiplier during the age. Very widely speculated on how these guys worked themselves up in such a hardcore battle frenzy. But
tons of beef jerky.
I don't know. Get super drunk, eat some beef jerky, and then they're ready to go. Like, I'm gonna kick more ass than everybody else. But from what my best guess would be is that they're probably gonna have some kind of like class almost of just, you know, like your normal kind of like sword and board, or, you know, axe and board, whatever, or archers hitting from a distance, and then there's going to be the insane rage monster with a vigor axe coming in head first.
Okay.
I don't know. That's my guess. It'll probably be some special class perk or something.
Okay.
Something you can special do.
And would you like to see... it feels like the game, to me, should have like some sort of raid mechanic where you actually have like a small like team at least, and then you have like maybe some members outside of that that's kind of like your NPCs, like they don't really have names, but then you just go into a village and like ransack it.
That would be a pretty cool feature. Just kind of launch your own little raids. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Again, no idea if they'll have that. If they do, then kudos, because that'll be awesome. The more raiding and just rampaging in general, the better.
Yeah. And I'm curious too.
I think that'll be the ultimate thing for this game.
Yeah, and I'm curious too how much of a picture they'll paint them to be the bad guys, if it's going to be morally gray, if they are going to be victims in all this, or if I guess, yeah, I don't know, it's tough, you know.
Kind of hope that they paint them as more than just these insane hardcore killers of ultimate destruction, because they were way more than that. Merchants, farmers, everything in between, blacksmiths. They had everything that every other medieval society had. They're like, okay, these guys are demons. These are monsters straight out of hell. They're huge, bigger than us. So they're kind of just coming out of hell to punish us. And so eventually, once the Vikings were kind of thrown back from England and, you know, other countries at the time, you know, that's when these Christian monks and everybody were like, these guys are just demons, like, oh god. They started kind of painting this picture of like, these guys are just savage barbarians. And to a point they were way more than that.
Yeah.
Very interesting and unique culture, all to their own.
Yeah, it's
really
a lot of people
like that, and not just like hardcore rage.
Yeah, because a lot of people like to simplify things and paint it with a broad brushstroke of saying, oh, they're the good guys, they're the bad guys, these guys are demons, these are the heroes. But it's really a lot more nuanced, a lot more complicated. I could see maybe in this game there might be some of the Vikings that are more like those demons and they do just want to kill people, but there's also going to be probably your character and your character's friends and allies that are a lot, they are the heroes, you know, like they have a very, they have a different perspective, and they're not all the same, you know, even though they're on the same team, quote unquote, they're not all the same person, so they have different philosophies and they're going to act a little different and things like that.
Vikings didn't just raid, pillage like England, France, and all that. I mean, they were also raiding and pillaging other Vikings. So,
Yeah.
So you'll I'm pretty sure you'll see some stuff like that, to where you get maybe some unique kind of Viking on Viking, action going on.
So that gives me, I actually have a question about that, Aaron. When a Viking raids another Viking, do you think that was more of a display of power, or is that a display of we need your resources to survive? Is it more about survival? Or, what exactly would be the motive? Like, so is it more of a power thing?
Speaking, as far as raids went, Vikings always went from a point of strength. And the more wealth that your king or your earl, jarl, whatever, however they say it, the more wealth and power they show, the better standing you have, period.
Mm-hmm.
So, if your neighbor has, if they've got one hell of a great breed, like herd of unique breeded horses or something, that's a symbol of status. So, your lord could be like, hey, you know what? I want those horses. They make me look better. I want them. So let's go raid them. We're going to take the horses and all their gold and junk. Sure, why not? Let's do it. There could also be religious motivation. So anything from religious motivation to resource to wanting, like I say, like for instance, the horses, more gold, crops especially. We had a problem with was agriculture. They just did not have quality land to needed or wanted to do. So that was one reason they started raiding and settling in places like England and France and things like that.
All right, cool. Well, Aaron, I appreciate all your comments and feedback on this trailer and on Vikings in general. It's fascinating to me. I think it's fun to learn about cultures and history, and I really appreciate having you here. And so thank you very, very much.
Yeah, man, it was great to be here. Appreciate it.
All right, and for you watching, be sure to like this video, be sure to subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know if you'd like to see more of our Viking expert and what other content you'd like to see us from the future. All right, take care, stay awesome.
Unofficial expert, just saying.
I'm cutting that out. People aren't going to see that. You're the official expert.
The video's over, but this was made by our Patreons.
We really appreciate what you've done for us, and we'd appreciate it if you'd continue following us further at patreon.com/Vindicated Entertainment.
Yeah, you guys. Be sure to check out some more of our videos, okay? Bye.
No.
Bye.